What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the greatest podcast in the world. True story. You know who this is. This is the truth. The dad bod god, the bald, the beard, and the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, man, I have got, someone who is very, very close to me. Someone I have the most utmost respect for, not just in professional wrestling, podcasting, entertainment, but just as a human being. And you don't get much more truth and honesty than Goldilocks. And we're going to get into it right fucking now. Break it down like this. And I was like, really? Like, baby face? And the heels were going on. Dude, I thought he broke his neck. The greatest podcast in the world. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Greatest podcast in the world, true story. And I'm with one of my favorite people in the entire world. And I know I say that about every guest that I have on, but this time I actually truly mean it. The one and only Goldilocks. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to see you.
That is such a great intro. I've seen it, but I guess I really was paying attention to it since it's right in front of my face, like right now, and the adrenaline's going. Like, what a great package that you put together. How long have you had that for? It's really good.
Thank you. Probably a little while. I can't take credit for it though. Like I got two producers that really do a lot of work and put a lot of effort in and even attend shows that I'm on and get photos of like certain things and put stuff together. So I can't take any credit for it. I just turn up and do me.
You've got great people around you. These producers, they're killing it. It's beautiful. Really well done.
Thank you. Yeah, look, it's just building a community, you know, and kind of like what you do with your podcast as well, you know, like your Patreon, your Discord. That's we're probably not at that level that you're at, but it's definitely somewhere that we're trying to strive to as well, you know, and you're definitely someone I look up to and respect in this game, and someone I've known for a few years. So, you know, I'm always keen to have a chat with you, but also just admire all the work that you do, because you are honestly one of the hardest working people I know.
That's kind. I appreciate that. That would be what I want to be remembered for. So how many shows do you have?
Like podcasts, you mean? Or
got this, but then you do other things too. So, I mean, bring me up to speed on you.
Basically, I cut everything back from doing the podcast network stuff. I was just like, I was headed probably to an early grave and also a divorce and not seeing my children. And I decided that step it back, offer to help the other guys set up their sort of platforms, which they didn't unfortunately follow up with. But I just sort of decided to brand it about myself. And, you know, I'm the one that was always putting the energy and effort into it. So I thought, why not just put the energy and effort into myself, and, you know, found people that have been supporting me in the background and putting amazing content together. And, you know,
I love it.
And also doing a variety show now, something different as well on a Thursday. So, you know, we're trying to do some different sort of stuff and tackle stuff, not just inside wrestling, but outside of it as well. Like, politics, sports, pop culture, that sort of stuff. So.
Well, you're great at what you do, and you're always so friendly and kind and positive and upbeat online. It's nice to see everything that you do. You share people's stuff. You're an all-around good guy, good family guy. It's nice to know somebody like you in the business. It's cool.
Oh, thank you so much. But tell me, what's been going on with you? Like, I've seen some stuff like popping up on social media, like the Just Say Yes stuff. Like the music track is great. I was just actually listening to it again just before. Tell us a little bit about it. What's going on with this?
It's a super cheesy song, bro. It is what it is. But you know, all of the super cheese in the world, like nobody ever admits to liking it, but yet Nickelback and these bands are like some of the biggest bands that you've ever, heard of. So, and there's always it's a positive song. It's something really fun. Just Say Yes. We came up with an idea for a music video when I asked the guys, like, let's do something like what comes to mind. They're like, well, the last thing that we want to do is like marriage or wedding or proposal or blah, blah. And then we came up with a used car salesperson people in the 70s who wanted to do that, but like just getting all the cars and everything set back in that period would have been like really, really expensive, like crazy budget. So then we just thought, let's do like not used, but just regular vacuum sales people in a video who don't want to be at their job, who hate their jobs and hate their boss, and set it back in the 70s, make it retro, And that's the Just Say Yes video. It's like we're trying to get people door to door to buy our crappy vacuum cleaners, and they're like the worst vacuum cleaners ever because I face it. Let's say I saved money being the cheapskate that I am and got them all at the Goodwill and thrift stores. So super crappy vacuums. Nobody wants to buy them. They just slam the door on our face, and then we break into this really stupid, dance sequence because finally the guys knock on somebody's door and there's some lonely homemaking women there playing bridge and drinking mimosas, and they basically smell fresh meat at the door and they pull them in, and it's cute. They like literally like grab them by the collars of their shirts and suck them in, and then we're in this like dreamlike vacuum cleaner dance sequence. So I mean, it's stupid and funny, but we did it knowing that we wanted to have a built-in contest, and anybody that does this, all you have to do is follow the directions. Just go to Goldy with a Y, Goldilocks Band, and right up at the top drop-down menu, it's a Just Say Yes tab. There's the instructions, and it's just teaches you how to do the dance, what to post, what to handle, hashtag, and we're giving away 2K in cash prizes, and
Wow.
that's for some people. That's it's a $500 runner-up and $1,000, and all you gotta do is like literally take 22 seconds of your time to do the dance, a few more minutes to post it, learn it. You're probably looking at like 10 minutes total for the chance to win, like paying a bill. It's just something fun to do. Everybody likes to do fun stuff. We've got moms, we've got grandmas and grandpas, and kids are doing it. It's just something positive to do where I'm going to put some positivity out in the world, Piers, and then maybe make some money for it. That's it. Super cool.
Yeah, but you know what? Like sometimes, but even like you were saying, like it's a cheesy song, but I feel like some of like the best songs in history of music are like so cheesy. Like look at the Beatles song, "She Loves You," yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a very basic, very like cheesy, 50 style of song, but like same with a lot of Elvis stuff as well. So like I feel, but those end up being timeless classics, or they end up becoming anthems,
Yeah. Well, we just wanted to put something out that's fun and fresh. A lot of our stuff in the past is kind of heavy, and the stuff that we're getting ready to do now is super rock and really dark. So you gotta balance it out sometimes with other things. So, if anybody I'd appreciate if you'd look at it. Just like, again, Goldy with a Y, GoldilocksBand.com. You can find everything there. And there's even a single within the landing page. You can order that, buy that, download it. That would help us out a ton. Everybody's got $1.69. I made it that price on purpose. Wink, wink. Everybody's got that. I encourage everybody to support, they're friendly, local, because local to you if you're watching this, if it's on your computer or phone, neighborhood artist, and just want to keep doing positive things. So that's it. It's a silly little dance. We got a couple of Russo's brand members last night that like to cosplay, and they will be posting their videos soon. So I can't wait to see those.
Well, you know what? Like maybe I could, like I can't dance, right? But
you don't need to, like literally, it doesn't say anywhere in the stipulations for the contest that it even needs to be remotely close. I mean, there are people that are just wandering around with either a broom so you have to have a broom or a vacuum. So we have people posting that there's nothing resembling the dance at all, but it doesn't say in the rules. It just says you need to do the dance. It doesn't say it doesn't say correct. You need to just the biggest thing is you need to have some sort of shirt on, just any old shirt with a Sharpie that says Just Say Yes, and then our sponsor is Shining Soul, and then you hashtag Just Say Yes, Shining Soul, Goldilocks Band. It says it right in there, the hashtag. Super easy. Darth Vader last night. We've got one of Russo's best, Vader. He sent me his pre-approval one just to say, is this right? And he literally taped Just Say Yes and Shining Soul to his front vest plate or whatever. It's funny shit. It's funny. And that's what it's meant to do, is like how creative or how proud can you be, or even if your kids are just wandering around in the background, it's something that when you post it, we repost it on like all 35 of our socials. It lives forever. And this is going to sound kind of drab and morbid, but there's been times when we've done things like this in the past, and then we've reposted, and then somebody's passed, and it's like it lives there forever. Like I always say, some of the stuff where we've included people in it, like even when they're not around anymore, like every time somebody watches that or it gets a view, I think that's like a prayer for them. Like that, So you never know how long people are going to be around. You never know what tomorrow brings. So fill your days up with as much fun and just memories. That's all we really have on this earth while we're here is memories. You know, money.
100%.
Yeah, you get that as a dad of 3.
You know what? Like you have those memories as well, but it's like I feel like once you get to a certain age as well, you start to sort of I think James Hetfield from Metallica said it best. It's like you spend the first 40 years of your life living, and then you spend the next 40 years of your life reflecting on the first 40 years. And it's like, it's so true because I find now I spend my times looking back at like 20 years ago going, oh, like I did some dumb shit in my 20s. And you sort of like have that reflection and you sort of have a different mindset when you get older.
Yeah, you know, you do. It's wisdom. There's nothing wrong with that. It's definitely wisdom. And I love having it.
Oh, absolutely. But I was going to say, I think I might be able to get one or both of my producers to do this dance.
No, I really wish that you would and just do. And then if you want to have something else in there plugging you or a sign in the background or just, you know, you've seen that stupid thing, Taste the Biscuit, right?
Yeah.
Talking about Taste the Biscuit, you know, and I thought it was real, but it's all, you know, like a total shoot. It's a work, my bad. And, you know, these people singing this horrible song that's horrible lyrics, very catchy melody, but horrible lyrics. And then I guess it's like they're fake managers in the background. Like they basically set up in a thrift store for their big performance. And then they sing this Taste the Biscuit song. And in the background, like the manager's walking around with like the name of the group, like on a marquee, like cardboard sign. It's so bad that, I mean, now it's becoming a meme everywhere, but like, we're not saying it's going to be like that, but just like have fun with it, you know, like don't take yourself that seriously. Like the dance doesn't need to be good at all. It's just, you're supporting me, a friend.
Yeah.
And you're doing something fun. You know, it's just stupid.
I will do it myself. All right. I won't get I won't get one of the producers to do it. I'll do it myself. I'll jump in and I'll do it over the weekend.
I wish that you would, because it, like when I look at the submissions, I just think, wow, somebody gave a shit enough to do this because they knew that it meant something to me. And then in the meantime, they don't realize it. But when you're reflecting, like you said, they'll be like, that was really fun. And then like, the best thing about everything that we try to do as a band and as artists is when you do reflect, we just want everything to be like nostalgic and feel good and fuzzy and give you something that is the something comparable to a drug without being something that harms you. Because when we have our live shows, which is a really interactive show, constantly bringing people up on stage or me jumping down into the crowd or doing things or being in the middle of a line dance or dressing people up or giving them the most ridiculous props that are so stupid. It's like, I know for a fact with no doubt that for the minutes of that song being performed and having them being included, that there was nothing negative in their mind. It's impossible. The endorphins are pushing so hard that whatever bills they're behind on or whatever relationship problems that they're having or whoever's just passed or whatever stress that they have in their life, I know for a fact that for the 4 minutes that we were having them be included in that song, partaking in it, that they weren't thinking about that. And that is more powerful than any drug at all, because it's like natural and you're just canceling out negativity and it's just all rush. So there's just people that get up all the time and like people would say, oh my God, you're making a complete ass of yourself to that person. When I'm looking at them saying, oh my God, you're having the time of your life and not giving a fuck what anybody thinks about it. That's
100%.
That's gold. And that's what we try to do. Like this contest, this song, everything like that is just literally to make you have some fun. And like some of the little kids got their grandmas to do it. And like, it's like there's 2 ladies just wandering around in a video, like aimlessly. Like, I don't know,
I love it.
They're just in the background, like looking around, pushing a vacuum, one sweeping or something. It has nothing to do with the dance at all. And then one person's kind of on track. But I know that they're going to look back on that in 6 months, a year, 10 years from now. And like, because they're younger kids that got their grandparents to do it and just be like filled with joy that, you know what, my grandparent didn't give a fat shit what anybody thought and did this because I said, Grandma, Grandpa, will you do this with me? That's it. Just there's nothing more to it than just something fun and simple like that.
Oh, 100%. And I feel as well, like dancing is one thing. Like if you're feeling down, you're feeling
Oh,
miserable, you got like pressure or stress. If you just put some music on and just like move around, like and just you know what I mean? And after you do it, like something it's like exercise, you know what I mean? Like if you go for a you go for a run, like you just automatically just feel so much better, right? It's the same kind of thing.
you do, and that's why people that are fit, usually, just have a better quality of life because they're first off, they don't have the health ailments that others do that aren't doing
Mm,
that. But secondly, there's something to be said about endorphins, and it's a natural thing that it's drugs are synthetic, alcohol is synthetic. It's not real. It's like being
mm,
back on a Star Trek ship when they have a replica, like it looks like apple pie and it seems like it's apple pie, but it almost smells like apple pie, but it's not. It might remotely taste like it, but it's not. It's nothing like when they would be on the ship forever and they'd finally get where they needed to go and they're like, I want a real apple pie. I want a real cheeseburger. I want something that's not fake or, and all the food that I eat, like keto stuff, sometimes it's like filled with like that maltitol stuff that makes you shit and fart. It's just awful, but it's like kind of resembles like a goo-goo cluster. But by the time your gut is done wrenching in pain, you're like, why did I eat that? I'd rather just have the real one with the real sugar, fat, and carbs and call it a
yeah.
day than this like fake synthetic, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not.
I've seen this Australian social media influencer, and he's got a pretty decent following, and he is like so brash and like just put this way, he drops the C bomb. I'm not going to say it in front of you because I'm like I'm trying to be on my best behavior, but yeah, like he'll drop the C bomb. This guy, but he was doing one video where he was talking about like people that go and buy like the protein cookies that you get in like the supermarket and gas. And he's like going, so he goes, if you want to have a cookie, you could actually have 4 normal cookies that would equal the same amount of sugar and would be less blah 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 than eating this thing that you're going to pay $15 for. You'll pay $2 and you just have. She goes, so if you want a cookie, have a cookie. Don't try and have your protein intake through a cheat.
Exactly. No, it's just he's totally spot on. And same with sugars and all that stuff. So what time is it where you are right now?
2 a.m.
Oh, I just looked at that. God, why are we doing this like so late for you?
I do it like it's better for me because like then I know like my kids are asleep. There's no noise in the house.
Oh my God,
So,
what a privilege. Thank you. I just looked up time and where are you in Australia?
Sydney.
Shit. Yeah, it's like 2:22 a.m. Oh God. All right, we're not gonna go that long on this. I
Oh,
really just wanted to tell you about what's going on and but ask me some questions about anything wrestling or what makes it worth your time to get up at two o'clock in the morning. Good Lord.
it's always good to catch up with you, and I'm always up late anyway on weekends and stuff. So, but like getting into it, like how often are you touring with the band at the moment? Because I feel like every time I like see you post, it's like you're always on tour.
2 or 3 times a week, and then we did have February was there wasn't a lot of shows in February, so for me, I use that time to promote, to do, I mean, when you put out a video that, if you look at the quality of the video, it was like thousands and thousands of dollars to do. Like that took me a long time to like come up with that, and that's because of patrons. That's because of people buying merch at shows. It's extra money that I literally put it in envelopes. I don't even put it in the bank, which is terrible because I probably could be getting something out of it. I know somebody listening would be like, well, you can invest this and this, and you're right. And I will, but like where I am financially, I can't look at that money anywhere or it'll get spent. So I have to like put it in an envelope and just set it and forget it. And then every once in a while I'll check and I'll say, all right, we have enough to do this video, or we have enough to at least plan it or put it on the calendar, knowing like I would come up with an extra this much within the time allotted. And then, sometimes people that help us, I don't make payment plans with them, but I always tell them I'll get you more. And they're always like, oh, sure you will. But I do, because I'm a person of
Yeah.
my word. So that means any extra money that I get, I just keep putting it in envelopes. It's like Dave Ramsey's a financial coach, which I don't really believe in a lot of the stuff that he teaches. It doesn't work for me per se, but that's one of the things I've heard people do that does work for me is the envelope system where you really don't, you're putting it in folders and whenever you forget that you even have it. So
Right.
we spend so much time and money on these productions that when it's time to actually promote it, you have to promote it. Like,
100%.
have to tell people, would you go look for the video? Just say yes by the Goldy with a Y Locks band. And then there's going to be topics going to put out their version, and the lyric ones are going to be, I'm going to be talking about the official video where there's like a lot of views on it and comments, and leave a comment. Like, people, comments are free, but you would not believe what I have to do to get people to leave a freaking comment. It's like pulling teeth out of somebody. Just go leave a comment. Oh yeah, I will. Or somebody said to me, you know what, Goldie, this would really help my business if you could just get off your fat ass for 2 seconds and do this. Or, of course I will. Or, would you leave me a Google review? Okay, that's a lot more than just hitting a thumbs up and leaving a hell yeah or an emoji. I can't do that in a Google review. But every and anytime anybody's ever asked me to leave them a Google or a Yelp, whether it means I have to create an account or whatever, if that's going to help that person with their small business or grow their brand, then that's your duty as a human being on this planet. But like I said, it's like it makes me puke. People listening to this show that I don't know would give me more support than diehard supporters, fans, as they call themselves. I don't like that word, but they'll say, oh, I'm a fan. It's like, well, then can you leave a YouTube comment? But they won't. So, not to bitch, but like that, it starts to make you depressed as an artist when you're like, I just put forth all this energy, and you know what, if people aren't gonna do that, stop streaming everybody's music, everyone too. You want to stream it? Okay, cool, stream it. If it fits on your Spotify or your Apple Music or whatever, but go buy the download for 99 cents or $2 or whatever it is. Like, that's not going to hurt you at all. But yet streaming, you can have billions of streams and maybe make $10. It's like, go support. You love your artist, then go fucking support your artist, and don't wait for them to die. And then maybe put up a picture of you and them. If you've done that, I'm not dissing you. I'm just saying, like, show the support that people are alive. When they're dead, it's not really helping them at all. Like, show them do a post about them while they're living.
That's like Chester Bennington. Like, I feel like when he was alive, he didn't really get the respect from anyone. And then like, and then like after he's dead, like, and I, for example, like if I go and listen to like some of his songs, and I'm a huge fan of like stripped down acoustic unplugged stuff, and I've listened to quite a few of his stuff, and you hear the like, his voice was just on another level, and like the words he was saying, it just like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, hold on to the memories, but leave out all the rest. And it's like, oh man, like you just, like it gets like, I've had times where I've listened to some of his songs, and I've just like, I've had tears in my eyes. I'm just like, fuck that.
He was a tormented guy, though. If you listen to any pods or interviews with his wife, he was always tormented. But it's like, if people would have shown some love and support while the guy was actually alive, then a lot of these people would still be around. Oh, I loved Anna Nicole Simpson. I love all these crazy bitches that were out there that are all dead now. Again, if you just would have, I will say people sure support Britney Spears, even as batshit crazy as she is. God bless her. Like, that girl's opera. I mean, any day now something crazy is going to happen with her. She's like literally out of her mind. But people still support her and are kind to her and stuff, and that's probably what's kept her around as long as she's been here. But yeah.
Do you think she's on borrowed time?
I think she's on borrowed time because she just seems to be, I mean, if you watch her Instagram, it's so mentally ill and so disturbed. And I wrote a big article on the Los Angeles Tribune just when her how do you say that word? Conservatorship. Oh, I can't say the word. It's where her dad was in charge of her life. Conservator.
Power of attorney?
It's a word. Conservator. Here, let's just look it up. Conservatorship. It's something like that. Let's see.
But I feel like so much, like, you see people in the music or any form of entertainment industry, like that, it seems to attract a certain type of, like, I don't want to say like
delusional.
No, not like tormented souls, like. But it's also at the point where, like, you've been in the music business and the wrestling business, and, obviously being a female in that and going through, God knows what sort of people have tried to throw at you. And I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, that can probably take its toll on someone who might not be as strong-willed, and maybe Britney as amazing as an artist that she is or was or whatever you want to say, that maybe like her as a person, she just broke, like mentally just broke from the stress.
You can't have somebody that young without a strong, I'll give you an example of, you know, and I know personally some stuff, so I'll keep it like there's somebody that's got like 2 strong parents. One's very strong, the other is like not my cup of tea, but like still 2 strong parents. You can tell the way that they were brought up, and those types of people rise to the top like nothing you've ever seen. And I don't necessarily like her music, and I didn't like her. I didn't like her style. It just wasn't my vibe. But I have to say, holy shit on the empire that you've built. And when you can give out $150 million to your truck drivers for your tour, when you are on stage looking hot and sexy in a body that any girl or man would die for, when your costumes are on point, beautiful, sensual, sexy, but there's nothing whorish or slutty. There's no lines crossed. There's a reason why millions of people, Swifties, show up to Taylor Swift's concerts. There's a reason, because the parents are driving those little kids, because what they see is something wholesome. Again, still hot and sexy. Like, you can't tell me any guy would bang her. You know what I'm saying? And like, she's got one of the coolest boyfriends of all time, and it's symbiotic. And you know that team has felt some sort of injection to be as successful as they have been this year, whether they want to admit it or not. Like, there's a symbiotic energy between the team, Travis, Taylor, all of that. Like, it's no surprise and no mystery. And there's a reason why it's all working. Brittany, shitty parents, the mom doing the best that she could, poor, basically living out of their car, doing everything they can to get in the Mickey Mouse Club. And Brittany was up. So it was Brittany, Christina Aguilera, and myself. We were the 3 girls that were up for record deals, honestly, all together.
Really?
Yeah. Brittany got hers because of the Mickey Mouse Club. I can sing better. Brittany can dance better, but she had a following. Christina Aguilera, same thing. She had a following. So Jive Records was looking at all 3 of us. Jive signed Brittany. I got signed with Princess, Paisley Park, and all of that, which was a lesser deal and no support at all. It was basically like, we're throwing you a bone because you sew our costumes and do our photography. Here's your bonus prize of a shitty record deal. It still wasn't a shitty record deal. It was close to $1 million, which is a lot of money back then, but the support wasn't there. It was always like I was the booby prize, and those other girls got such a push. And if you go look at any early Dua Lipa video, it's so, and it's like, so here's the equation. My father is in the music business. Okay. So is Taylor Swift. So we can get into that. My father was in the music business. He's got a lot of pull. I modeled. She wasn't that pretty back then. Just kind of like an ethnic, pretty, just basic. I'm just being real. It's like, there's some women that, God damn, like I'd hit them up, and I'm straight. There's some women that are just like you look at Angelina Jolie when she was younger. What the fuck? Or you look at her kid. Look at like Jesus Christ. Look at Cindy Crawford. Look at her daughter. Have you seen Kate? Like, oh my God, her daughter looks just like her, and it's like the most perfectly formed human that you've ever. Like, I look at this young girl and I'm like, if I were gay and not a pedophile, you know what I'm saying? This child is so I'm just saying, there are people that are out there that you just turn your head and go, what the fuck? Like, you are Brad Pitt as the most gorgeous face. You meet Joe Black in that movie, you're just like, this man is so physically perfect. So I get off my soapbox. Dua Lipa, okay, she's like cleaned up into somebody really good now that she's older. We all can wear really good makeup and be bougie and like, look good. You look at stars when they start out, they're a little rough, and then they start getting there. Look at Lady Gaga. And then you get the nose job and the teeth and all the stuff, and all of a sudden you're a little more shiny. You're passable. Dua, okay. Watch her earlier performance. There's one performance I saw of her singing a song in a cafe, coffee shop, canned audience. They just paid people to be there, trying to make her look cool, trying to make her look like she's got a following. And it literally is cringe, Piers, to see people like, they'll catch the camera and they're like, They're not into it at all. Nobody's into it. She doesn't sound good. But you start polishing that turd, you start polishing that. I'm not saying Dua Lipa is a turd. I'm not saying that.
No, I know what you're saying, but you can
look at early wrestlers. Their mic work is weak. They haven't had the experience. They don't have the knowledge. They haven't had the time in the ring. They haven't had the time with the opponents. They haven't had 100%. The experience. So same thing. She's polished up now. She's a superstar. But back in the day, it was sort of like, it wasn't that good. She had great representation and great parents, and then it pushes her into what it is. Britney, she didn't have that. She just had like a real kind of white trash, broken family, not to rip on it, but like it's not going to necessarily go the same place as somebody like Taylor Swift, who had a very, 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 very wealthy parents. So you've got the support there. I mean, not to be crass, but she bought her way into the business. We all know that in Nashville. It was an $8 million sell and a $7 million. So for $15 million, that's what could break her career. And that's really what it takes for many pop artists, a little less, but like they had the money. So they basically went to the record label and just said, we will pay you to distribute our kid and polish her up and do it. Now, you can do that till the cows come home, but if the talent isn't there, and I don't think Taylor Swift is the greatest songwriter on the planet. I just don't. I mean, there's some catchy stuff, but she's got some help with that. It's not just only her. It's not just only Bruno Mars. It's not just like you got, like you just said, take the credit for my package because I've got. Well, you can take the credit, and that's what artists do. They take all the credit, but you don't look at all the people behind the scenes that have. Now, go look at Uptown Funk. When it started, it was Bruno Mars. Then Mark and a couple other people, you see there's 3 names. By the time you look at Bruno Mars's Uptown Funk credentials now,
it's
16 or 17 writers now that are on it. Like, there's no surprise that that's a hit song when you have 16 of the best writers in the music business contributing to one track.
But it's also like, I feel like pop music as well is it's very generic to a lot of extent.
It's a formula. And people like it, and it works. So, but so there's stuff that's a formula too. But then you're getting somebody more raw and real, like Pearl Jam's front. Or you look at some of these songs and they're just like you said, you have tears in your eyes because they're just because the artist really wrote the shit, and that's not how it is with a lot of pop music. And that's why is because of what I just said. Because you have a lot of people that are really green and everybody's just sort of like, here's our cash cow. We're going to all throw into the pot, into the stew, into the stone stew. We're going to throw in, and it's going to become this thing. Like Dua Lipa now is like bigger than life. And the reason there's so much energy for her on stage, it wouldn't have to be that she has talent. It's because of that fan base. Same with Taylor Swift. Like there's so many people going nuts about her, but her talent is not per se. It is, but it isn't, is not per se in the songs or the this. That it's
do you see the
it's the go ahead, honey.
No, sorry, I was just gonna say, but also like it's the marketing as well, like the constant portion and stuff like that. It's all the subtleties. It's all the subtleties that go into it.
If you wanted to count the number one thing in anybody's talent, it's just perseverance and keeping going. Like she's been consistent. Like you look at her early work and it's and then she just hit, and it's good stuff. And the songs are good. And there are a lot of really great songs. I don't know that she can say that she's writing them all herself, but it doesn't fucking matter because she's that good that she attracts the best to want to write with her, to collaborate with her, etc., etc., etc. Like that's the real talent. I'm not in any way, shape, or form dissing anyone. I'm just saying the talent that I have isn't just say yes or the cheesy song or the whatever. It's how did I and why do I have a relationship where I can call you up and say, may I please be on your show? How can I call up other people and they can make time out of their day? This is your time. This is 2:00 in the morning when you could be sleeping. This is time where you could be making money somehow, doing something else, but you're helping me. That is the real talent and the gift. Like I said, Taylor Swift and her empire is built because she is a good person. And you can just obviously see that you don't get to where you are with that sort of empire without being a good human being.
100%. And I feel like, even to, like to get to that level, you have to also be like, because you don't really hear much people coming out and say, oh, like Taylor Swift about this, or anyone throwing shade on her. Like, she seems like the good, clean cut American girl that, the girl next door, type. And then, her relationship with, what's his name? Trevor Keltz.
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce. I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes you see those celebrity relationships. I'm just going, I wonder if this is like manufactured, just like, hey, could be beneficial. Like, this could be beneficial financially, like also like social media wise, like there's a lot. I don't know. Like, do you ever see some of those relationships and go,
I lived in Beverly Hills. I lived in Hollywood. I lived in, Bel Air, Century City. Like, the meetings that I would be going to were just all these celebrities that everybody thinks are so hot, and they're really just gay, and they're just trying to hide the fact that they are. That was back in the day. Now you can come out and be gay, and there's such a big following that it wouldn't matter. But like, even so, there's like a lot of celebrity dudes that just needed to be sex symbols, and the females needed to dig them, and they just would get a beard, as they would call it, like a beard to cover, and they would date some female just to make it look like, like they were straight and they had somebody, even though everybody knew they were gay, and they were just going along with it, and they weren't doing anything other than taking publicity shots together, but they weren't really actually even hanging. So, people do what they got to do. No judgment. Why
100%. I think now it's such a different time now, where it's like no one really bats an eyelid at that, which is cool in a lot of ways, because I just feel like, hey, you are who you are, be who you want to be.
Exactly.
Hey, I'll be in your corner. If you're a good person, you got a good heart, I don't care what you do. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way that I feel like a lot of people do, but
yeah, especially if it's not hurting anybody. Like, that's their business. If it's hurting somebody and they're pushing it hard, like, that's the only thing about a lot of the things that are going on right now is like, I've always been a live and let live kind of person, but I don't appreciate some of the agenda that's getting pushed. And I get it, like, you want to be heard and you want to have, but some of the stuff's just a little too sus for me. And I don't know that that's necessarily going to be the norm or what the percentage or the majority of people are into. So it's just sort of like, do your thing, but like, don't make the rest of us feel weird that we're not buying everything that you're selling, if that makes any sense. So.
Oh, 100%, for me, I try and be as positive as I can, but when I see people want to try and have a crack or something like that, my response is, hey, I'm not a killer, but don't push me. I'll show you what I can do when I can be mean. But like, in the most part, like, what have I got to be mean about? I got 3 healthy kids, a beautiful wife. Life is good. Good friends, good family. There's enough hate in the world without me having to worry about it.
No, absolutely. Well, tell me before we get wrapped up, what we can look forward to you. Like, what's
you tell me what, like, you're the guest. You tell me what we have to look forward to with you. Like, we've got the Just Say Yes thing. Let me ask you this. TNA, like, is announcing its comeback from Impact Wrestling to TNA Wrestling. What's your thought on that? Like, because you were a TNA original.
I have tried to meet with Scott D'Amore, who is no longer. So I wondered about that. I sent a message to a colleague that I met recently at Real Screen, which is the conference for unscripted TV. And I bumped into this guy. He's like, I'm friends with this guy named Len, blah, blah. He owns Anthem. And I'm like, I said, could you please put in a message to Len that Goldy, the OG TNA cast member, would really love to come back. And, I know that he's mentioned something to him. I've sent him an email. I don't think he's read it, because I can see if he's read it or not, and he hasn't. It's like, I would love to come back, like, with a vengeance. I would love to be a part of Billy's organization. We've talked for weeks, for months, it's just, things have to make sense. The spot has to make sense. But I would love a reason to get, I'm in good shape now, but you can't see, there's like a poster, like that ab cuts, like, it's like skewed because it's that.
Oh yeah, I can see it. I've seen that photo on Facebook.
I know I can still be in, like, and I'm in decent shape, but I'd like an excuse to, like, be paid to be, like, in really good shape. It's way easier when you're getting a paycheck to not eat those donuts and put down the pizza. But I would love to come back, be in the best shape that I've ever been in. be as hot and sexy as I can, representing chicks over 40 or women in general. It doesn't need to be that, but it's like, you know, you do have a life after 40.
Absolutely.
And I would love to represent that and be the biggest heel that ever walked the planet. And I know I've had my time to reflect and know the things that I need to work on. And then I know that there's things that I don't know, but I need to work on, and that will reveal themselves. I would love to come back and just with a vengeance. And
would you want to wrestle?
I wouldn't want to wrestle. Nope, not at all. I never really did. And especially more than ever, hearing the pain that people are in physically, like, it's not worth it. Like, you are forgotten and cast aside, no different than a vet coming back from war. Like, no different than how our country just turns its back on our veterans and lets them just rot homeless in the streets. It's the same thing for wrestlers. Like, they're hot when they're hot, and then nobody gives a flying fuck about them when they're like Wolfie D. He was just on my podcast, and you know, he didn't talk about it, but I guess he posted, so it's okay. So like, I mean, like hip surgeries, hip replacements, knee replacements, all this stuff, broken backs, broken necks. It's like, that's not for me, but it is for some people. And so be it. Float your boat, walk your walk. But I can come back and I can support that. And I can be a really good glue, and I can help with storylines. And I'm great on the mic. Not good. I'm great on the mic.
Absolutely.
Mantel has to say about how shitty I am or whatever. God, it's such a kick out of that guy. Just like always trashing me. Maybe he wants to have sex with me. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe it's like a schoolboy crush. Maybe Dutch is like a schoolboy, like has this like crush on Goldilocks.
Yeah, maybe because you just like always seem to find a time to like bash me, you know. So, and I don't have the time to bash anybody, nor do I. So I wonder about that when like little boys in the schoolyard were like mean to you because they really had a crush and they didn't know how to like channel their sexual frustrations. Dutch, is that you?
When did it start with you and Dutch? Like, when did he start going?
That long ago. Like, I mean, just like these horrible videos. Like, just, I mean, the stuff that he'd say about me. It's like, wow. What's interesting is like, even with what he's said about me, I thought he did a really good job at TNA. I thought he was somebody that people could go to and get good perspective and work their angles out and get advice and wisdom. Like, I have nothing bad to say about the guy at all. Like,
yeah,
never. It's just, I think it's just, I appreciate his negativity because there has to be negativity in the world. There has to be despair. Otherwise, it would just be a euphoria and there would be no balance and nothing interesting. So, I mean, there has to be bad or there's good. And that's real. Yin and yang, you know how it works.
But you know what? Like, I feel like even then, like that, the negativity, like that sparks so much. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like if you can do something outrageous or say something that's like, whoa, you know what I mean? And it's saying something negative about someone else online, it gets that attention and gets people talking. So, you know what I mean? Like, maybe you should just be saying to him, you're welcome for the clout.
Yeah, no, I'm grateful and appreciative of it. I honestly am. And there are some things that I look back in my career, like some acting spots that I did or some this or that, music stuff or live stuff. And I cringe and I just think, oh God, that's absolutely dreadful. It is cringeworthy. It is awful. Like, I wasn't on my game. I didn't know what I was doing. Yuck-ish. I'm embarrassed of it because it is what it is and it's a stepping stone and you grow. But like, I can honestly say 1000% when I look back at if I were to pull up any spot from NWA TNA, any spot from TNA wrestling, I was always really funny and put out and disgusted and disturbed. And it was real and it was sincere and it's funny. Like, if you don't think a lot of the bits with the Dups are funny, where I'm just so genuinely disgusted by those guys and everybody else, I feel like backstage interviewers, it's just a carbon copy. It's the same thing over and over. It's some girl with her tits hanging out in fear. And I was just like, what? Like, huh? What? Like,
it was almost like you presented like you weren't let in on the secret almost. Does that make sense? Like, that was that.
A lot of times I wasn't. A lot of times it was Goldy, go out to the ring, go interview somebody. Who is it? I will just go out there. But who is it? Who am I interviewing? Just go out there. And then, ladies and gentlemen, and then somebody would go, you're interviewing Kid Rock. Kid or I had no idea what was going. I had no idea what was going on. So you can't. I think I did a damn great job being thrown to the animals and flying solo, and then I
For
didn't know
real.
the terminology, and I'd get it all memorized, and I'd sit backstage with my papers, and I'd get this tag team champion, and blah blah, and I'd get it all, and then they'd change it all like right before I go out, and it was live. It was live TV. You tell me how you do on live TV. No,
I wouldn't do as well as what you. I'd freeze up.
I'm not tooting my horn. I'm just saying it was live TV, and all the people criticizing me were not on live TV. And when they are on live TV, some of the stuff was a little cringy. It felt like they were self-serving, and it felt like they were there for their own ego. It's like, okay, this guy's in the I won't say any names. There's been certain people in the business where you're just like, the only reason you're on camera is completely for your own ego. It doesn't even make sense with the storyline, bro, babe. It does not make sense.
Yeah.
Like, you're really there to get your own rocks off, to say, look what I did, look what I can do. And
trying to pop the boys in the back.
I have no comments. I'm just saying.
Well, but you know what? Like it's like I saw recently, and I don't want to quote it word for word, but I think it was a segment with you and AJ Styles, and it was like probably 2003, and it was like he said something, and it was like like I said, I can't remember, but it was something like pretty on the vulgar side of things. Yeah, but that was kind of like people would like these days, like if you said that to like if a guy said that to a woman in these days, he would be like ended, right? But back then, that was kind of like, that's funny.
But
you know what I mean? How did you take it?
I'm not going to come back 20 years from now and go, sexual harassment. Like, I knew what I signed up for. You want to be in the world of pro wrestling? Here it is. No rules, no bars hold. Granted, if I was raped or somebody molested me or did something like that, different story. That's not what I'm saying. But for the most part, you know what you signed up for.
So you had no idea about that, what that was going to said? Like,
no, it just came out, and then you just reacted how you reacted. But again, I'm a professional in professional wrestling. It's not that a day at the church camp. And, you know, for all the stuff that's going on right now, I'm sorry that anybody ever is hurt. I'm sorry that anybody has a horrible experience. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. I'm not trying to sound pious or on my soapbox, but I don't take our conversation before this even started. Like, I'm an advocate for clean living. I don't take any drugs. I sure as fuck am not going to take a drug because somebody puts it out in front of me and says, hey, you should try this. You know what? Try cat shit. Try eating that. Oh, why? You don't want to do that? Okay, well, I don't want to take your drugs. So somebody would come up to me and say, do you want a soma? It'll knock the edge off. The edge off of fucking what? I'm not a wrestler. I don't have bumps and bruises. I don't have broken bones. I'm an interviewer and an entertainer and a singer and an artist. I don't need to take any drugs to take the edge off. And everybody knew. They asked me once or twice, hey, no, I'm good, thanks. You do you, but I don't do that. So stand your ground. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. That saying couldn't be more true. So all the bullshit in professional wrestling, I never experienced any of it because I set my ground and my standards and said, I'm not into it. I'll come out with you all. We'll have a great time. We'll do funny shit. It'll be epic. I'll have a nice steak dinner at the Ale House in Orlando with everybody. But then when it's time to go do coke and blow and all the pills and all the shit, I'm going to bounce. I'm going to go hang out with all the guys like CM Punk and a bunch of the guys that would literally go find a gym or go back to the hotel and work out. They did not go to all of the after parties in so-and-so's room and this and that, where everybody did lines of blow and all their shit. And it reflects that. You can look at them and say, they obviously have had some pretty clean living because they look amazing. They're 40, 50 years old. Their bodies are in great shape, blah, 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 blah. Like, you can see it. And then you can see the ones that are just tired and shot. And then you see them with the rest in peace and they haven't even hit 50 and they're dead. Because your heart can't take somas and pills and cocaine and all the alcohol and staying up all night and all that. It just doesn't. Oh, wrestler died again young. Well, because of the lifestyle. So change the lifestyle if you want to stick around longer. Or if you don't care, if you're like a gangster and you just don't care if you don't make it to the age of 24, then so be it. Do you. But don't be surprised when it happens. So, you know, I look back at those days and I don't even know how I got on that rant about being healthy or this or that. But like, I'm just saying, if you don't have to do pills and everything like that, because when you do, then you're not going to be in your right mind. And then you leave yourself open for sexual assault, for sexual abuse, for God knows what. Like, I'm just saying there needs to be people saying more stuff that like that. Like, be preventative. Don't do stupid stuff. Don't, like I say at shows, I don't take a bot. Somebody gives me something like this. First off, I don't drink. But secondly, whatever they're giving me, it's unless it's in a closed, unopened bottle, I'm not drinking it because it's gonna put something in there. That's just what happens these days.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And you know, you said like something could happen, opened up possibilities of sexual assault, and like the Ashley Massaro thing, prime example. Who knows what, you know, like I think the story was someone actually drugged her, and that's sort of the lead up of what happened in that thing.
What happened? It doesn't. First off, it doesn't matter what happened. That she was hurt. That's the number one.
She was. Yeah.
And you have to start looking and saying, all right, a lot of these stories, they start to pattern the same way. Like, what's okay? So if you were, so again, you're drugged. Like, if that happened to me, it'd be a war, because I don't even take anything or drink anything. So then that's really fucked, because then you're really. But if you're out and people are buying you drinks and you don't know where they're coming from, like, I'm not saying that takes away from what happened to you. I'm saying you have to start looking at circumstances and surroundings on why does this. Same with guns. I love guns. I shoot. I don't want you to take my guns, but my heart says another kid just got shot in a school or this or that. So it's like I'm in between on how, not like where, what laws or what, like, but it's like, how do we fix this? Because taking away all of our guns isn't going to fix it. People are still going to get a weapon, or they're going to blow up the school, or they're going to figure out a way to do it. So what do we look at to fix all of the problems that there's a lot of mental health. And it's just like I said, with the veterans on the streets, like with the wrestlers, like they don't take care of our people. Like, we need to start taking care of things. People have known people are going to go blow up a school or shoot a school. Doctors have known, psychiatrists have known, therapists have known, and nothing's been done about it. So it's like you gotta look at all of that. But all these horrible things that keep coming out, there was stuff that also said that she was constantly taking somas, that she was constantly high, constantly not in control of her body. Like, that's not a good thing. Address it. Address it.
You know, that's really scary. But yeah, gun control, like anytime in America, like there is a major incident, like in a school shooting, do any of the gun laws ever tighten up or change?
I think they try to, but like, again, it's not guns that kill people. It's where are the parents of these kids that are going in and getting access to the parents' guns? And if they're locked up or this, so yeah, I get it. Like, a bleeding heart liberal, I hear you. I hear that. I am not that, but I'm somewhere in the middle where I like try to listen to everybody's. Same with like a lot of the women's issues, you know, like I'm pro-life, like I want a child to live, but then again, I get the pro-choice. Like I get all of it. Like, where it's so confusing. It's like, where do you draw the line, and who do you vote for? And this, and again, that's a battle that I have within myself. But when I hear somebody getting raped, getting assaulted, and then it comes out from their friend in an interview that they're always high, like, then that's not good. I'm not taking away from the terrible tragedy that happened to the person. I'm just saying, like, that's not good. Like, you can't you're setting yourself up for failure when you do that. And like, that's never addressed anywhere, because then people would say, you're taking away from the victim. I'm not taking away from the victim. I'm saying, how do we prevent this from happening again? I don't want to have an abortion, Piers. I would never want to abort a living being. Okay. But if the condom broke, or if something happened, then I'm not in a position in my career or my life or where I'm at where I want a child. I never have. So what am I going to do about it? Well, I'm going to go to preventative. If I have sex, I am going to be on the pill, or I'm going to have an IUD. And even if I have an IUD or I'm on the pill, I'm probably still going to make you wear a condom, because I don't know where you've been. You know what I mean?
100%.
This relationship, I don't know where you're at, like, all the time, and I'm on the road and this and that. So I'm just saying, preventative for me. There's been times when I was younger where I was on the fucking pill, had an IUD, made them put a condom on, and I was wearing a sponge. Like,
damn, that is like, damn, if you had fallen pregnant then, like, you would have had so many lawsuits that you could have filed.
Immaculate conception if that was pregnant. I'm just saying that's how thoughtful I have been about, I am not going to bring a life into this world when financially it's not where I'm at. With it being an artist, you're all over the place. Being an artist, you're touring, it's not, you have to be a full-time, this human being is my responsibility without a doubt. I am committed to you. I am driving you, taking you, doing this, blah, blah, blah. Sports uniforms, dance uniforms. It's like, that's your deal. That, because I only do things on or off. There's no blah, 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 blah. And that's 100%. Me. So I know me, again, go back to the point of preventative. I'm not kidding when I said 4 times protection, because I was like, there is no way I'm having a lot of sex with this guy. There is no way that I'm getting pregnant. Not a people, yeah, I'm not saying to do that, but like at least think, well, I'm not protected. This guy's raw. I'm not on the pill. I don't have an IUD. I'm going to screw. I had a kid. Oh, but what a surprise. Like, oh, I don't have the money to pay for it, but that's okay. I'll just go on welfare, and you know what? It could be somebody else's problem. And you can go to work every day and get up early and not sleep and have a shitty life. Make a lot of money, make no money. The government will take it all, and then I can use it because I just was drunk, or I wasn't thinking, or you know, it's just like that kind of shit drives me crazy. So again, preventative. The gun thing, there's just got to be something in there that's not being looked at, where, because people are never going to give up their guns. Even the gangsters, like, you're going to take all the guns away from the good people, and then all the gangsters are going to still have their guns because they're doing illegal shit anyway. They're always going to have their stuff. So what can we do in there that, I don't know the answer. I'm just saying there are things that can be done that would help the problem that we have here. It's just, how does somebody even get into a school with a gun like that? Like, you can't have like metal detectors everywhere, but like, I don't know. I swear to God. I
wouldn't want my child going to a school, number one, that would have metal detectors in the field.
Let me ask you this. When's the last time you ever heard of a massive shooting at, drumroll, Walmart? Those old ladies at that door, man, they'll stop you if you're coming in with your own bag. They stop. What are you doing with that? I'm like, it's your bag. I recycle bags and I shop with this reset. Not on my watch, you won't. You have to leave that bag. I'm like, I have to leave my recyclable bag at the door. Like, so now I literally put it down my back of my pants. I put it down my boobs. Because they'll see that recyclable bag and they're coming for me and they're watching. I'm just saying, like, so they're like, again, I'm making a solid point. When's the last time you ever heard somebody at a Walmart blowing up a Walmart? Like, is there somebody that you don't want a metal detector, but is there just a greeter? Is there a retired greeter? Is there somebody at schools that is really there making, now they might get shot on their job, you know, like blocking a gun, but what other ways are there to protect our kids in schools? Like, what?
I don't know. Like, we don't have, like, I'm on the other side of the world, and we don't have school shootings
because you don't have guns, right?
But like, okay, so recently in the news, and I covered this on my weekly live podcast that we talked about just recently, and there was a police officer who murdered who was part of the LGBTQI plus community. I think I got it right. And he killed his ex-partner and the ex-partner's new partner, right?
Okay, wait. So say what it is. He killed a guy. So
he killed his ex-boyfriend and the ex-boyfriend's new boyfriend.
Okay.
He killed it. He was a police officer
in Australia.
In Australia, in Sydney, in probably 20 minutes from where I live, half an hour from where I live. Killed them with a police issued firearm. And it's it's just one of the most shocking things where it's like, holy shit. Like, when you hear like gun violence in Australia, it's like, whoa. Like, it's honestly shattering. And it's even to the point where the LGBTQI plus community they have the annual gay and lesbian Mardi Gras float, which has been happening since for 40 years, where it's like everyone who's part of that community goes there, they march, they parade, they dress how they want to dress, they be how they want to be. It's a night for people to be free and express themselves any way they can. They originally said, we don't want the gay members of the police force to march in our parade because of what's happened. Then they said, no, we'll let them march, but they can't wear uniforms because of the murder that's happened. And it's like, okay, so a community that's all about not being judged and being free and stuff like that is now not accepting a certain and condemning many for the actions of one person. And it's kind of like, it's wild. It's just honestly wild that that's the society that we live in, that they've gotten to that point.
The parades are public, the ones that I always had in LA, and I get that. And I get that you should be able to express yourself, but then the thing is it's like, as a heterosexual woman, should I be allowed to go down the street with my tits hanging out and all of my stuff? Like, then there's that argument, like, is that really a good idea? Like, for kids to see, or for this or that? And then there's, well, a guy can be shirtless, why can't a girl? There's that whole thing. It's like, because guys can't hold it together. They see a nipple and it's like their mind blows. It's like, it's like, for me, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's reasons that laws are, and it doesn't mean that laws can't be challenged or need to be revisited or reviewed. But like, there are laws for reasons, and I feel like we're living in a society where like everything is going out the window and everything is fine. Like, somebody got sued because they're teaching Satanism in a school, and then there's an after school Satan club where it's teaching kids to believe in Satan and the rituals of Satanists and this and that. And so people in the neighborhood and the community want this out of the school, and they actually won the lawsuit saying they're being discriminated against. And it's just getting to be like, it's, you know what, it's just getting to be a fucking circus out there. And I'm not even old, and I'm getting exhausted over this shit, because there's no fucking way in hell, literally, pun intended, that if I had a child in school, I would want them to be subjected to learning about Satan and ritualistic satanistic things. Like, it just, but again, like, you're discriminating against Satanists. I'm like, look it up. The After School Satan Club.
That is crazy. I'm gonna check it out. But you know, it's silly. But it's even in that fact now, where we live in a time where it's like you can identify as anything as you want, and your child, who is like kids at like my elder son's age at 7, can be like, no, I want to be a girl and dress up, and like there's a kid in my son's class who is like that, and is a boy but likes to dress as a girl and wants to be called her, and people are doing that, and it's like, well, okay, great. Like my 2-year-old wants to be a puppy dog. Does that mean like I just leave him outside at night and feed him out of a metal bowl? Like,
there has to be there's a reason why you're a certain age to go to war, to drink, to drive. It's just like we talked about with your 8-year-old. He's setting his boundaries. He doesn't know. He doesn't understand. He hears the words and he can say the words, but he doesn't quite know what those words mean. And he doesn't know how those words are going to affect other people. That comes with wisdom and time. Like our Metallica buddy with years of reflection and coming. And so it's like, there's a reason why. And, you know, there's guys that I've dated that were really young, and I just thought it can work out. It didn't work out because we're just on different levels. It doesn't mean bad or good. It's just different levels, no different than the gun, or the this or the that. It's like, you want to take God out of schools, and you want to take religion out of schools. And I get it. Like, I'm Catholic. There's a lot of things in our Catholic religion that I'm just appalled and disgusted by. And I kind of just do my own thing. I adhere to some of the teachings, and I don't make up my own, but like, if there's just stuff going on in the church that I'm disgusted by. Okay. That doesn't mean I need to completely abandon my faith, but for the most part, most people that I know, whether they're Buddhist, whether they're Jewish, whether they're Christian, whether they're whatever, if it's some sort of faith based like that, there's a lot of things based around community, helping. Church is meant to be helping. And most churches have different outreaches of, are you hungry? Here, we've got a food bank. Do you have no place to stay? Here, we've got housing options for you, or at least temporary housing or something to help you with. Are you being abused? Let us help you. Like, basically, most churches, for whatever you want to say about them, are based on helping people. At least they should be. The after school Satan Club is not based on anything other than just the most disgusting teachings ever of dismembering animals, of sacrificing animals, of go to Louisiana, go to New Orleans and talk to law officials and people there that have been out. Like, most people can't be cops anymore. And I've talked to so many and say, why did you retire? And they're like, you know what? You've shown up on enough lawns with dogs being still alive, speared through the ass with a spear coming through their mouth, and there's skinned alive cats and this and that. And they're like, I don't even want to talk to you, Goldy, about what I've seen. It haunts me at night. I don't sleep. The PTSD that I have from my job because of all the voodoo and all the stuff that goes on. And it's real. It's Louisiana. It's New Orleans. Shit's real. Just in New Orleans. I was just there, but like it is thick with a lot of that stuff. So we don't need that in our schools. We don't need kids giving that as a this is something cool to do. Like I would.
But who was teaching this? Like other students?
No, go look it up.
Like this was like a legit like adult
real shit. Yeah.
So like an adult was doing like this sounds like some real cult type shit.
It is.
Like real like
because anything goes these days. You can do whatever you want to do. Anything goes. You're discriminating against me. You know, if you want to do you, but just leave kids out of it. Leave kids out of it. I saw a video on YouTube a couple of days ago. Never do I leave a negative comment, but I literally wanted to impact vomit. All it was it came up and it was a thong G-string through this lady's ass. She was crouched down and just twerking right to the camera. Ass, ass, ass. And I was just like, what is this? Okay, do your thing. As the camera pulled back, though, there was a half circle of young girls. Hey, yeah, cheering. And I'm like, there is no reason that a 12 or 13-year-old girl should be cheering for this. If you want to basically be a bona fide porn star, yeah, you're dancing, but it's up your ass crack. That's like porn. It's soft porn. It is what it is. Stop trying to call it for the girls on OnlyFans. You're porn stars. If you're licking pussy and twat and you're fondling shitty chicks, dude, whatever, it's soft porn. It's not art. It's not like it's soft porn. You want the rub. You want to be a porn star. You want to be popular. Like, but that doesn't require a lot of talent. It just doesn't.
I feel like a majority of like OnlyFans models, not all of them, but a majority of them, they want the hoe money, but not the label. You know what I mean? Like they want that they want that payday. But I got in trouble, like as I said on a podcast a while back, that I think OnlyFans is damaging a younger society of males because it's teaching them that affection and interaction with a woman that you're interested in is going to cost you money, and that your affection is transactional. And that to me is like,
how could you get in trouble for speaking the truth?
Because people don't like hearing that
you're getting attacked for saying anything. And you know what? It's completely ironic and wrong because this is the mental gag that is on our world, not just our country, not just the US, not just Australia. It's like, I should be able to say, you want to say that you can say whatever you want to say. That's fine. But the minute I say something that disagrees with you, then all of a sudden you're going to attack. You can say whatever you want to say. I think OnlyFans is the worst thing to ever come along. And I'm a hot chick. I still look fucking great nude and naked. I could clean out house with an OnlyFans. I'm not just some blob of shit who nobody would want to jerk off to saying that. I'm a hot chick saying, I think it's the worst thing that ever come up. Now, I have got a lot of colleagues and friends, I guess I can say, who are not like on a daily basis, that have an OnlyFans. You know what? You do your
for
thing.
real.
But I have said to you to your face, I really wish that you would make some money writing another novel. Or I really wish that you would make some money putting out an exhibit of the incredible photography that you do. I won't make the same amount of money. Fair enough. I get it. But I pass on 18 to 20 grand a month on requests. 18 to 20 grand a month is a lot of money when you add it up. When you add it up,
for real.
I could just be sitting pretty. But I'm not dialing a phone with my toes, and I'm not going to show my feet, because to me, when people are like, why don't you just do that? It's like, because it's not me. It's not true to me. I would just be doing it for the money. And I've never been about that. yeah, it's not gross or anything to show my feet, but it's like, I know some guy is going to be watching me do something with my feet with their cock in their other hand and stroke it off. Like, I know that that is totally what they're doing. And I would like to reserve that for somebody that I'm in love with. That's me. Now, that's not to say I don't have a Patreon where I have a sexy locks tier where every month there is a tasteful PG-13 couple of shots that I send out to our patrons signed with my name on it. And you know what? Maybe they're jerking off to it. Maybe they're not. But it's like there's way more powerful images than me in a swimsuit to do your business to. But I think that most of the men keep that, stay there because the postcard's being signed to you. And I'm going to talk about your life. And I know your life because I'm mentally present with you. And it's not just love me on my titty and sending it's more than that. It's like the connection, it's the emotional bond that I have with the people that are on Patreon. They're considered to be friends. I really consider them friends.
Yeah, I mean, because they're supporters. They're not just there for, like, I think like the OnlyFans thing is like, man, anyone who's like, oh yeah, I support someone on OnlyFans, okay, no worries, you're basically, you know, you know what I mean? Like, great, you're a sugar daddy to someone, you're paying him a little bit of a wage each month. Whereas I think Patreon is like you're getting something out of it, whether it be content, signed 8x10s and stuff like that. That's a different level of communicating with fans. But also, like, as you said, you're a hot chick. I mean, you could go and make 20-30 grand a month doing that. But like, but having standards for yourself, I think, like, make like.
Everybody's different, Piers. I'm not saying that the girls that do it don't have standards. They have
No.
different standards than I do. They're just different. Like there's plenty of girls in wrestling that do it. I get it. It's just not for me. Like I don't think it's empowering. It's not empowering at all because the minute that money stops, I could go out on the street today and just be good with what I'm doing or do an honest day's work or whatever. You know what I mean? It just,
yeah, for real.
Explain it. Either you get it or you don't. Like, it's not for me. And I feel bad for a lot of the girls because they're going to get to a point where they can't do it anymore. And then what are you going to do? Like, now I would love to take sexy shots of myself till the day that I die, but I'm a photographer and I'm going to change the way that I angle my body to the camera. I'm going to change what I'm wearing. I might be nude. I don't know. I'm just saying it will change to reflect the age that I'm at so that I don't look like a joke. Like I want to honor the body and honor the art so that you see some of these old porn stars and it's just like, honey, give it up. And I check myself with what I wear on stage. I'm like, do you look like some dumb bitch in her 40s running around on stage or do you still look like you have some power? Okay, you do, like, but the minute that I start looking like a joke, then I'm not a boss babe anymore. I'm not honoring it. Like, and I think like these OnlyFans girls, it's gonna cap out. Like when Carmen Electra did hers, and then she just keeps talking about she's a boss, and I'm just like, girl, you never really had a lot of talent to begin with. Prince produced everything and made you, but you're beautiful and done a lot in this business, and like you could do so much to empower and educate women with everything that you've seen and done. You have power within you, and I feel like you're giving it all away. Like it's just all tits and ass, and there's nothing else there. There are some women, Trinity was one, that she could come out to the ring in early TNA with just caution tape over her nipples and like a G-string and whatever, and I would be standing by going, God damn, like
well done, yeah.
Exactly, because there is so much there that little stunt is just 1% of the icing on the cake of her body, put in the work, does the gym work, brilliant, learned wrestling in like 9 months, better than half the chicks that spent their lives studying. Like there's so much there. Stunt woman, mouth, great on the mic. Like there's so much there that as another woman, she could come out with dental floss over her tits. And I would be like, I'm just saying, it's the foundation. It's the base. And a lot of these girls on these OnlyFans, they have no foundation or base or brain. Like there isn't a base there, or they'd be doing something mind blowing, not just look at my tits again. Anybody can do that. Anyways,
Yeah.
enough about all that. You get it.
Ah.
You go to bed. We've gone way over.
100%. We're going well over now. I feel like, yeah, well, whenever like I'm having a good conversation with someone, I don't even pay attention to the time, and I've just looked up then and seen an hour and 15 minutes. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But Goldy, where can everyone follow you on social media? Where can they support you and check out what you're doing?
Just again, you can find everything on Goldilocks Band, Goldy with a Y, or just hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, Goldy with a Y, Goldy Locks Rocks. Piers, thank you so much. That is how you pronounce your name, isn't it? With all your accents.
Of course, it's Piers.
Piers. Okay, thank
Piers.
you. Great conversation, getting into it. I appreciate you. Think you're amazing, and just thanks for being so kind to me all this time. Thank you.
Anytime. My pleasure. But guys, thank you for tuning in to the greatest podcast in the world, True Story. This has been my conversation with the one, the only, the beautiful Goldilocks. Till next time, take care. All the best. Mwah. Peace out, motherfuckers.
Break it down like this.
And I was like, really? Like, the baby face and the heels were going on. Dude, I thought he broke his neck. The greatest